Signs of imminent construction on SpaceX's Starship yard, propellant tanks at 39A, and rapid expansion at the Hangar X facility are some of the major highlights in this week's Florida Starship update. Hey everyone, this is Haygen with NASA Spaceflight, here with a new Kennedy Space Center flyover video, courtesy of NASA Spaceflight's Julia Bergeron and Stephen Marr. There are a lot of exciting updates here, so let's dive right in. First, let's start at Roberts Road. This 67-acre site, located 3 miles south of NASA's iconic Vehicle Assembly Building, is currently the hub of Falcon 9 first-stage refurbishment. This work occurs inside Hangar X, a SpaceX-built facility. In addition to stage refurbishment, the hangar hosts some office space and preparation space for crewed missions. As we talked about in the last video, Hangar X is currently being expanded, and its footprint will be more than doubled. We can see in this week's flyover that there has been some rapid progress made on the extension. The walls and roof are really coming together, and the beams of a second expansion are now going up. It is not entirely clear what this new space will be for, but with an increasing launch cadence and SpaceX consolidating operations to the Hangar X area, it's possible this could be a new second stage or fairing pre-flight processing area. Another option could be additional facilities for future private astronaut missions. Stay tuned for future flyovers that may show some hints. Just next to Hangar X, we can see that a circular pad has been poured, and the inside was seemingly filled with gravel. The purpose of this foundation is not yet clear. However, numerous theories have been proposed regarding its use in Florida. We've seen similar foundations used as storage mounts in Boca Chica, but we'll need to keep a close eye on the pad over the next several weeks to pinpoint its exact purpose. But something familiar from Boca Chica is visible. Concrete foundations used for the assembly of launch and catch tower sections have been poured at the Roberts Road site. Since last week's flyover, 6 new concrete forms have been placed alongside the other 12 foundations, indicating that more tower construction foundations will be poured. Also nearby are the rusted steel supports that will be used for assembly of the launch and catch tower sections. During tower section construction, one of these supports will be set down on each of 4 small concrete pads, and a vertical beam of the tower will be installed on top of each support. These supports hold the beams in place during tower section assembly. A similar tower construction style was used in Boca Chica. But the tower will need a ship to launch. Enter the Starship Factory, located on the western edge of the Roberts Road site, where groundwork has moved into the construction phase. This area features a large rectangular plot of land which seems to exactly match the proposed 320,000 square foot facility detailed in a previous planning document. In comparison to last week, this area now appears to be almost fully compacted and smoothed. And in case you need a sense of scale, Harry Stranger laid out the proposed building designs on top of Boca Chica. It's also important to note that this current building is only the first phase. A 192,000 square foot expansion has also been proposed, but the timeline on that is unclear. What is clear is that we now have our first signs of construction for the new factory itself. Workers are preparing to drive piles on the westernmost edge of the site. Piles are long supports, typically steel and concrete, that are driven tens of feet into the ground to provide a firm footing. This is especially necessary given the wetlands that Kennedy Space Center resides on. Pilings must be drilled into bedrock to get a stable foundation. This is an excellent sign that everything is going to plan. Pile driving is typically one of the first visible activities in building construction. Following pile driving, the next step may be preparing to pour the building's foundation. Away from Roberts Road, ground clearing continues at the Launch and Landing Facility, formerly the Shuttle Landing Facility. This runway will soon be at the center of a major aerospace operations area. The project is being spearheaded by Space Florida, and the site will be available for commercial customers. The current work is part of Block 1, the first of 6 potential expansions of the site. The facility will be used in the future by companies launching from and landing at the runway, as well as customers who simply need manufacturing space. Hopping a few miles east to Pad 39A, 4 large propellant tanks have been delivered to the site for the Starship launch pad. Last week, the tanks resided near the turn basin, which is essentially Kennedy Space Center's loading dock. It is not clear whether these are for liquid methane or liquid oxygen, but both are needed. It is interesting to note that no apparent work is being done on the mobile service tower. which will be used to vertically integrate sensitive government payloads onto Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Work on a mobile service tower is expected to begin soon, given its mandate for future national security space launch contracts. Also at 39A, we can see what may be cutouts in the liquid hydrogen sphere, indicating an investigation of some kind into the tank is underway. As it was originally from the Apollo era, this could simply be a tank life investigation. Alternatively, it could be evidence that SpaceX may be interested in using the tank for methane storage at the pad. There doesn't seem to be much visible progress on Starship's launch mount, but there is some earthwork being performed. Given Starship and Super Heavy's mass, we would normally expect a significant amount of ground preparation before construction begins in earnest. However, LC-39A was originally designed in the 1960s to accommodate rockets larger and more powerful than the Saturn V, so exactly what ground preparations are needed will be an interesting contrast to Boca Chica. Speaking of future Starship pads, the team photographed the area where LC-49 will be built. This new launch complex will host 2 Starship pads west-northwest of the LC-39 complex. No work has been performed yet, and it will likely be a while before we see any work on LC-49. NASA and SpaceX are currently performing an environmental review of the site, and there is no timeline on when that will be completed. Changing gears, over at Blue Origin's Exploration Park factory, progress is being made on the site's expansion. The facility currently features an expansive factory where New Glenn stages and fairings are being manufactured. The building also features mission control for New Glenn, and will eventually be used to refurbish stages after they fly a mission. Blue Origin's Exploration Park campus also features a first stage test and cleaning facility, a warehouse, and other support buildings. The company is currently constructing additional warehouse and production buildings, as well as a cleaning and testing building for second stages known as 2CAT. Structural work on 2CAT has progressed since the first flyover, as it seems that the first level of the building is complete. And finally, we have LC-36, the future launch site for New Glenn. This site was formerly used to launch various Atlas rockets from 1962 to 2004, and has been completely renovated by Blue for their new Behemoth rocket. Visible is the horizontal integration facility, where New Glenn stages will be integrated before launch. This is a similar approach that SpaceX uses for Falcon 9 and Heavy, albeit on a much larger scale. Also visible are the launch tower and lightning protection tower. The launch tower is planned to feature a crew access arm to support planned future crewed flights of New Glenn. One of the most exciting objects at the New Glenn pad is this large steel cylinder. This is actually a test tank for Project Jarvis, a plan by Blue Origin to make a reusable second stage for New Glenn. There has been very little information released on this concept, however it may end up looking and functioning like a Starship, albeit with a 7-meter diameter. And that's all for this week's Florida update. Be sure to be on the lookout for future flyovers, and if you'd like to catch up on what's been happening down at SpaceX's Boca Chica facilities, be sure to check out our newest roundup video. Thanks for watching, and have a great week.